Welcome back. Today I want to bring you What If Deku Married Mirko. And if you guys actually want more of this, hit the subscribe button down below or get this video to around 200 likes. And I'll release the next part out as soon as possible. And also, one last thing, click the link down in the description to get 10% off your merch deals. Because there's some fire merch down there you guys can actually buy. From your anime apparel and all sorts like that, Naruto, Bleach, and Tokyo Revengers, and also My Hero Academia. And also make sure to subscribe, we're getting so close to 4,000, and without further ado, let's begin. So let's just quickly begin with Izuku's point of view at age, we'll say 4. As Izuku was standing there in just a peon view next to Bakugo. "Kachan, stop, you're going to hurt her," Izuku said. "Like I cared, Deku, now move out the way, you quirkless nerd," Bakugo shouted in furious rage. "But why do you have to hurt people like this? I thought you wanted to be a hero." "Oh, trust me, I'll be more than a hero. I will be the richest #1 hero that's ever lived," as Bakugo maniacally laughed like a villain would. "See, that's how villains act. You're no hero," Izuku said, this pissing Bakugo off, as Bakugo threw an explosion at Izuku. "You damn nerd, die! Die, die, die!" As Bakugo kept on throwing explosion after explosion to Izuku, one landing on Izuku's cheek, scarring him slightly. As the moment the last explosion hit, Izuku fell to the ground, bleeding slightly from his head and his arm, as Bakugo actually walked off, leaving Izuku bad bleeding and bruised up to the brim. "Hey, are you okay?" she said. "Yeah, I'll be fine. Ow," Izuku said, putting his hand to his head. "You don't look okay. I think my mom should be somewhere over here," the girl said. "It's okay. He does this quite regularly. I should be fine in a couple of days," Izuku said, starting to get up, limping away. But the moment this girl's mom saw the little boy, she had suddenly rushed over to him, catching him when he was about to fall. "Hey kid, you okay?" she said, shaking him. "Come on, wake up, you're okay," she said, trying to wake him up, but to no avail. "Shit," as she grabbed her daughter's hand and put them into the car, as she told the little white-headed girl to hold down the little wound that Izuku has on his arm and cheek with the blanket that is in the back of the car, which the little girl did so. As the moment they arrived to the hospital, Inko was informed of it, as she rushed to the hospital, as Izuku was in the emergency room having surgery on his arm and cheek. As the moment Izuku was out of surgery, the white-haired woman and the white-haired girl were standing at the bottom of the bed waiting for his mother to arrive. As the moment the mother arrived, however, she had a very worried, teary-eyed face on her, like no one else has seen before. As the moment she saw her little boy in the position, her inner monologue went off in a riot. "Who did this to my little boy?" she said with killing intent behind her. "It was someone called Katsuki Bakugo," the little white-haired girl said. "I'm going to kill that little brat," Inko said in a furious rage. "Wait, you can't kill children, that's against the law. Calm down, miss, you have to be with your child right now." "I know, but my child revenge must come first," she said, getting the rage what a mother should feel for her son being injured to the state that Izuku's in. As 2 hours went by, as Inko and the two white-haired girls in that room both had their conversation about what they're going to do and how they're going to report it. As those 2 hours went by, Izuku's hand started to twitch, same with his face. As Inko noticed this and went straight up to her son. "Izuku, you okay?" she said, very calm and collected, unlike the rage she had inside at the moment. As Izuku woke up, saying "Mom" in a very grogged and hurt tone, as it only hurt Inko's heart seeing her son in the mess that he was in. "Son, who did this to you?" she said, knowing the answer that Izuku was going to give her was false. But she still would believe her son, but she would actually take this a different route in canon. "Izuku, who did this to you?" "No one, Mom, I did this myself." "Oh, my cheek," Izuku said, holding his cheekbone in pain. "It was Bakugo, wasn't it?" Minko said, whispering. "No, it wasn't. It's fine, Mom," Izuku said. "There's burn marks on you, Izuku. Those are explosion marks. I'm not stupid. Once you're excused from the hospital, I'm going to have a chat with Mitsuki about Bakugo's behavior and our appropriate reactions for this," Inko said. "No, it's fine, Mom. Don't worry," as Inko just hugged her son in pure fear. "I thought I lost you, baby," Inko said, hugging her son tightly. "Mama, it's okay," Izuku said, sounding innocent but still in pain. So we'll be taking our leave now," the two white-haired girls said. "Oh yeah, we forgot to say, what's your name?" "Oh, my name's, Rimuri, and this is my mom, Kindo," she said. I don't know Rimi's name, so you have to deal with that. Well, Mimi is Mirko, so I'm going to call her Mirko from now on, just so I save confusion. As Izuku would say thank you to the woman that actually saved her and the girl. "We'll meet again, okay?" she said, doing a 10 gigawatt smile that Izuku would do normally canon, as they both walked out. "So, Izuku, as Izuku just collapsed straight to the bed, exhausted from the interaction he just had. As 5 years went by, as Izuku was walking to his first day of middle school, as Izuku was going to sit down in his first class, as Bakugo came up to him, slamming his hand on the desk. "You damn nerd. Remember 5 years ago when you got me into this goddamn quirk therapy? I never needed it, but I can still practice my quirk on you," Bakugo said. For an 11-year-old, he is still arrogant as shit. As Bakugo used his quirk on Izuku's chin, not phasing Izuku at all from the main bruising that he's had previously from Bakugo. You would think Inko would actually make him move schools or some shit right now, didn't you? As Izuku said that internally. As without further ado, let's begin with the class. I'm kidding. As Bakugo started to throw a giant tantrum once more as the teacher walked into the room, furious with Bakugo in this timeline. For the exact reasons the teachers are scared of Inko. For the exact reason that if she actually threatened to sue the school, and all information would be leaked to the public about what they've actually been doing at that school with quirkless kids previously. As Inko knows her research, no kid would actually try and mess with Izuku, but most of them did try. But most of them ended up getting either expelled or forcibly moved to the school or publicly shamed for what they have done to her son. As after class, Bakugo decided to actually pick on Izuku, but the teacher just shouted and scoffed at Bakugo, telling him to sit back down or go to the principal's office and receive punishment. "You're only doing that because Izuku's mom has information on the school, and if she leaked it, you would lose your job permanently. Isn't that right?" Bakugo said, as the teacher just looked down and ignored Bakugo. As most students there would see that as an opportunity and tried to make friends with Izuku to try and get on his good side. But Izuku, knowing these people are actually scumbags, he wouldn't actually make the friends with them at all. And more or less, he would pay more attention to the white-haired girl in the year above him, named Mirko, or Rimuri as people like to know her. "So, Izuku, the white-haired girl walking into the class. How's your day? Are you okay? No one's bullying you, right? She said. No, no one's bullying me, Izuku said innocently. Good. So, what are you doing after school today? She said. Well, nothing actually. I was planning just to go straight home. Why do you ask? Izuku said, tilting his head to the side. Well, I was wondering if you wanted to go to the arcade or not. Well, 2 of my friends are going, so I wanted to just invite you, that's all, she said, innocently smiling at Izuku. Okay then, Izuku said. As the end of the day arrived, as Izuku was walking to the arcade with Rimuri and her friends. Halfway to the arcade, Rimuri noticed that Izuku was a little bit scared, as Rimuri would ask that Izuku what was wrong, as Izuku would reply for a second until Rimuri touched his shoulder. You can tell me anything, Izu. We've been friends since we were 5. Come on, you can tell me. Well, I'm just scared of going to a bigger area, Izuku said, lying through his teeth, as Rimuri didn't notice and she just went along with it. Don't worry about being scared. Your big sis will protect you, she said, smiling, as Izuku would see her as a big sis around this time, making her overprotective of him. Well, you guys know the vibe of that. As Izuku would actually nod, and they would both go to the arcade and play some Pac-Man, or some Donkey Kong. As hours went by from there, as Izuku and Mirko both arrived back at their own respectable homes. As the last year of the time, well, let's just do a little time skip here, of their last year of middle school. Everything from canon would go same, as Bakugo telling Izuku to kill himself. Mirko would actually get a glimpse out of her eye from that. At the moment Bakugo left the room, she instantly rushed in and hugged Izuku, telling him everything's gonna be okay. It's alright, Izuku. Izuku? She said, as she saw Izuku's glimpsed face shading down to a dark-ish color. Hey Izu, you okay? She said, moving her hand closer to his face, trying to see if he was alright. I'm alright, big sis, Izuku said. I'm just gonna go home. Can we walk you home then? No, it's fine, Izuku said, miserably. You sure? Yeah, I'm sure, as Izuku went downstairs and grabbed his book, sighing. When is this gonna end? As Izuku walked under the underpass like canon what he would normally do. As just like canon, Izuku would get attacked by the sludge villain wanting his body like canon, but in this actual tip from canon, All Might would come a couple of seconds earlier to save Izuku. As the moment the Detroit Smash was thrown, Izuku's body went limp and threw himself to the ground. Hey kid, you okay? All Might said, looking over to the kid, slapping his face. Ow, Izuku said, rubbing his red cheek and coughing up the rest of the sludge that was in his lungs at that time. Hey kid, you okay? As Izuku went full fanboy mode, forgetting about his depression for just a second. Oh my god, you're All Might! Izuku shouted, in disbelief and in glee. Yes, I am All Might. What's wrong? Are you okay? All Might said. Yeah, I'm okay. Holy shit, you're All Might, Izuku said again. You don't have to keep on repeating yourself, kid, I know, All Might said. As Izuku and the rest of the people, Izuku just grabbed his notebook trying to get a sign from All Might, but realizing it was already pre-signed, Izuku would start fanboying like crazy. Seeing his idol, the person he looks up to the most, right in front of his eyes, Izuku would see nothing more than shining bright eyes instead of being the normal gloomy ones that he had a couple of minutes ago. Wait, All Might, I need to ask you something, but before All Might could even jump, Izuku grabbed onto his leg as All Might leaped into the air with a giant stride. Why do I feel so heavy? Kid, what are you doing? All Might said, trying to shake him off. If you force me off, I'll die, Izuku said. Wait, will you have a... Oh no, All Might said, catching the hint instantly, unlike canon. As All Might said, "Hold on, kid, I'm gonna jump onto a building and let you off, alright?" All Might said, leaping onto the nearest building he could find at that time. "Oh, I thought I was gonna die there," Izuku said out loud. "Kid, why you want to grab onto my leg like that? You know that's dangerous, right?" All Might said, worried for the person who just got saved. "Yeah, but I need to tell you something, All Might." "Kid, I'm sorry, but that was dangerous. If you would have fallen, that would have fallen on me. You know that, right? And that would make it feel like I didn't have enough time to save you. That would have been guilty," All Might said, making Izuku feel bad for what he just did. As Izuku would try and talk back to All Might, trying to get his reason through, but the moment Izuku tried to finish off his conversation with All Might, but before Izuku could say he was a quirkless human, All Might debuffed as Izuku would freak out, seeing that his idol was covered in the mists and coughing up blood. "Oh, is that you're not the real All Might?" Izuku said. "Wait, where'd he go?" "I believe you, I am the real All Might," as All Might spat up a bunch of blood from his mouth, making Izuku freak out just a tiny bit more. "Holy shit, you're really All Might. How did you get that injury though?" Izuku said. "Well, it's from a villain a couple of years back. I think you should be around 10 around that time. Well, it took up most of my energy and I can only hold my form for 3 hours a day. After that, my power becomes useless. And I become this weak, frail thing that's right in front of you at this moment. It's pathetic, honestly. I should have been more careful trying to fight that fiend. As for your question about being quirkless a hero, sorry kid, but that's not gonna happen. Be a fireman or something, or a policeman, those are noble professions. But they don't allow quirkless people. Well, you think I've tried that? Izuku said, shouting out loud. Well then, I'm sorry kid, All Might said, walking off down to the stairs, making Izuku's heart break more than canon, as Izuku in this timeline would actually debate suicide. Why do I feel like this? Izuku said, starting to tear up more and more. I give up, Izuku said, getting ready to leap, but remembering he had his mom and Mirko left. If he loses them, he has nothing left. As Izuku put off suicide for one more day, Izuku was planning to go home, but realizing, just like Kanon, Bakugo had been stuck, Izuku would try and rush in to save everybody, but getting scolded by the heroes, the people he looked up to the most, scolding him because he wanted to save a life, hurt him beyond repair, as something broke inside of Izuku that day, or that moment, vowing that he would change his hero society for the better and make sure these scummy heroes pay for what they fucking do. And I'll make sure they get I'll get revenge on the quirkless people who get bullied as well, Izuku said internally. As Izuku was walking home, All Might would offer him a quirk like Kanon, as Izuku would be training in secret from Mirko since for those 9 months. As Izuku would receive the quirk on the 10th month, 5 days before the UA entrance exam. A little bit earlier, but gives Izuku time to learn how to use it. As for the 5th day of Izuku receiving One for All, Izuku managed to get the handle of the quirk and able to use around 4 to 5%, 6 at a push. Be able to strain his body at 6, but using 100% still will hurt him like Kanon. This will have to do, Izuku said. 5% is enough to pass the exam, so I should be able to be good there. But the scoring system should be broken, so I should be able to get some hero points as well, so that will be good, Izuku said, walking onto the campus of UA. Izuku, a woman's voice behind him said. How are you? She said, running over to Izuku. As the moment she ran up to him, she hugged him. Hey Mirko, why are you in a UA uniform? Oh yeah, I forgot. You go to the school now, don't you? Izuku said. Yeah, I've been here for an entire year, you dumbass, she said, smacking the back of his head. Wow, you feel toned, she said. Rawr! As a joke, of course. What the fuck are you saying? As Izuku and Mirko both walked in, as Mirko wished Izuku good luck for his hero exam, not telling him that there's hero points in the actual thing. If you guys haven't actually read up this already, she's a year older than Izuku, just to ease that in. It's gonna sound weird when I'm editing it, but yeah, you know what I mean. As Izuku managed to complete the exam, getting the same amount of percentage he would doing canon when he's actually doing the written portion of the exam. As for the physical portion, well, I'll be changed slightly, because the moment everyone started rushing out, Izuku destroyed a bunch of robots to be able to get him to 40 points on the villain thing. As for the saving Uraka, that would make him go all the way to the first spot. Just remember, Izuku got to like 60 or 50 or 60 points destroying the robot, the massive 0-pointer. So this will put Izuku in first place, unlike canon. As the moment everyone received their discs and Bakugo got second, he saw who got number 1, as this pissed him off beyond repair, as he didn't know how to retain this anger anymore, as he was trying to leave the house, but his mum stopped him and told him to go back upstairs to bed, because he brought UA in the morning and he doesn't want to be late. So let's quickly go back on to Izuku's point of view really quick, literally just go back a little bit earlier. Wow, I did really good for just having a quirk just a couple of weeks ago, Izuku said. Well, I think I should just leave now, as Izuku was walking out of the exit. As Mirko asked him how he did, as Izuku said he did pretty well for his first time. As a couple of weeks later, Izuku revealed what his answers were to actually Mirko, as she was surprised that he actually passed and he got first place. Wow, everyone there must be really weak then, Mirko said, chuckling. They must have made the bots easier somehow, he said, smiling, patting Izuku on the back. That hurt, Mirko, he said. Wait, you don't call me Big Sis anymore? Well, that hurts, she said, going to the corner and fake crying. I'm sorry, Big Sis, Izuku said. That's better. Yay, he said, charging at him and hugging him tightly. As that week went by, as Izuku's first day of UA attained its first glory. As the first day went like canon, everything would have gone normally, but Izuku's actual fighting with all the events and everything would have gone differently, with Izuku getting at least 4th place. In all of the actual participants throwing the ball, he would have at least got 300 meters, for the exact reason instead of using 100%, he used 5% instead. So Izuku was able to actually not be injured and able to use 100% of his true power to actually get ready and finish his quest. I don't mean 100% of one for all, I mean just 100% of his base power, which is 5%, instead of getting injured like canon. As for the rest of the actual events, let's just do the fights of the one with Ochako, Bakugo, and Ida, the heroes versus villain test. Yo, Midori, your costume was sick, Kirishima said, looking at the one from canon. Well, I made it, Izuku said, smiling slightly, still having the actual motivation to change the hero society in its whole. You mean that you made that? That's so cool, man. So manly. But are you actually going to get an upgrade on it? Because it seems less durable than what it should be. Oh, it is, but I am planning to get an upgrade, Kirishima. But thanks for the update, by the way, Izuku said, as Izuku went into his teammate, which is Uraka. As All Might raised both of his hands to symbolize that the teams have been picked and everyone will get into their main teams. As for the fight commenced, as Izuku was wandering through the actual main corridor, like canon, Izuku got a strategy ready, telling Uraka to go the other way the moment Bakugo charges at him. Then that leaves one person that's not near you when I go all out, Izuku said. Wait, all out? What do you mean by that? I'm kidding, it means he gets one less person to worry about. Bakugo's our main problem at the moment. He's a little bit stronger than Ida, and one of the actual main issues. If I tackle him head on and try and actually capture him, we should be able to win this without any problems, because Ida's only a speed type and kick type. He's not a brawler type either. So this is basically really easy. You sure? I know so. Bakugo's arrogance will get in his way, and we'll have a second interval to actually knock him out easily. You sure? I'm really sure, Izuku said. Okay, then I'll trust you. As the plan went into motion, as Izuku was actually going upstairs, as Bakugo would have shouted, "Deku!" Bakugo shouted, running over to Izuku, trying to tackle him. Leading into a right hook, Izuku would dodge it instantly, moving and pursues and moving to the left, and dodged Bakugo's left hook. As the moment he did that, this was one of Bakugo's mistakes, he left his back open, as Izuku raised his kick and kicked Bakugo straight in the ribs, bruising 2 ribs, making Bakugo move back slightly. "You damn nerd!" Bakugo said, growling like the angry Pomeranian he is, as Bakugo got onto his feet once more and jumped straight at Izuku, not trying to give him any movement. But this would be Bakugo's downfall, as Izuku kicked the walls that was surrounding him, creating little bits of debris, blinding Bakugo like sand. "You think using this dirty tactic will stop me, you fucking nerd?" Bakugo shouted at Izuku, getting more and more attention from him. No, just to get you more angry, worthless, explosive, serial bomber, Izuku said, getting Bakugo more riled up than what he should be at the moment, making Bakugo use his quirk very recklessly, destroying some of the debris around him. Bakugo shot an explosion at Izuku, making Izuku brace on the impact, as one throw is activated at 5%, just enough to be able to block and withstand one of Bakugo's bigger explosions without any problems. So you're able to as Bakugo kept on throwing more and more explosions at Izuku, making Izuku bruised and bloody. As the mob explosions that Bakugo threw, Izuku lost his balance at that one point. With one of this being planned, Izuku jumped at the very last moment they did with Gran Torino, and Sonic kicked Bakugo straight in the middle of the head on his temple, making Bakugo dazed and delusional. "Damn nerd!" Bakugo pointing his gauntlet in the air. Not realizing it was there, Izuku looked up to see that's where Ochako was, at the exact location where the bomb should be, with the quads that Izuku got from Uraka at that time. "Bakugo, you're aiming wrongly," Izuku said behind him. "Over here, you want to shoot the correct way? How about you shoot the right way instead of actually shooting the incorrect way, huh?" "Angry terrorist," Izuku said, getting Bakugo more angry, as the explosion that was fired off from Bakugo's gauntlet made a rumbling in the building, sending the explosion right at Izuku. But the last second, Izuku dodged it and pulled a Gran Torino and jumped onto the roof. "There should be enough movement," Izuku said, jumping straight at Bakugo. As the moment he was 2 centimeters near him, Izuku grabbed his head and slammed it straight into the ground, knocking him clean out, with Izuku defeating Bakugo. As the moment the bomb was just about to be done, Izuku told Uraka to brace herself. "Damn it, this is gonna hurt," Izuku said, as Izuku charged up one throw on his right arm. Knowing that he only had a couple of seconds left, he fired his fist all the way into the air with an uppercut with 100% of his power, making the amount of wind pressure hit he would do in cannon, not having the time to actually, go up there and sort the situation. As the air pressure released, the same thing from cannon will happen, as the air pressure would travel all the way to the roof, releasing it, making them win by Ochako using her quirk on a stone pillar, helping them win instantly the match. As the day ended, as Izuku Mirko was both walking out of UA, until Ochako and Ida both caught up to them, asking to actually make friends, but Izuku wasn't hesitant on that. Izuku would have the conversation tomorrow, he would say, but they were hesitant even more of trying to be friends with them. But Izuku had the thought of them just being friends with him for his strength alone, so Izuku would try and avoid it in this timeline. Because he did have a friend already, as her name being Mirko, Izuku would walk home with her. But in the background we see Kaminari and Mineta just crying tears of blood, for the comedy relief of course. He already has a girlfriend, Mineta said. Let's tell the class about this and see what their reaction is. Okay? Okay, Mineta said in his pervy expression with a lisp. As that day arrived, well, they're still in the actual part of them walking home. I'm joking, of course. As Izuku and Mirko were both walking home, Mirko got a text from her father telling her to go to the Midoriya residence for night. Because we're actually planning on doing something tomorrow morning, okay? Mirko's dad said, giving her the okay. As she blushed violently, knowing that the person she liked the most, she was going to his home for the night, she said, blushing madly. As Izuku wondered what was wrong until she relayed the information to Izuku, as he slightly blushed at that initial moment. Knowing that Mirko liked Izuku and vice versa, they didn't know how to actually handle their feelings, so her dad gave them a push slightly. Her mother doesn't know yet, but her father definitely does. Sounds weird, shipping a 1 year older than them, but this will make sense as more we go on. So Izuku, can I stay at your place tonight? She said, shivering slightly. Sure, Mirko. Izuku said, stiffening up, knowing that her girl was going to be coming to his house to stay the night. As Izuku and Mirko both arrived there, Inko greeted them with a smile, getting the text ahead of time, knowing what's going to be good and happened. I'm gonna set up a quirk marriage for them, the father said as the time skipper began. Wait, why the hell do you want to set up a quirk marriage between them? Let it happen naturally. Yeah, but that's the problem though. If we don't increase their, feelings towards each other, Izuku will be stolen from her, and we don't want that yet. The man said. They're both a perfect match for each other. They both flirt with each other almost daily. They blush, they're innocent. What else do you want? They literally will never cheat on each other or fight, the man said. Yeah, but without telling them that. I know, I'm sorry, sweetie. But let's just see if they want this first. And if they do, and it somehow end up working with this, then we'll go along with it, the man said. As we cut to Izuku, Mirko, and Inko's home. Stay, of course. As Izuku offered his room, but Inko pushed them both into Izuku's room, locking the door. As Inko used her quirk to try and put something in front of it to stop Izuku's super strength in moving the goddamn stuff. Damn it, she locked the door, Izuku said. Yo Miri, do you want to take, Big Sis, do you want to take the bed and I'll take the floor? Izuku said. But before anything else could happen, Mirko pushed Izuku to the bed, making them both onto the bed snuggled together. As Izuku wondered why she was doing this, but went against it and just fell asleep. The next day arrived as Inko was there taking photos of the two people snuggling next to each other together. Oh, don't you both look cute, Inko said out loud, waking up Izuku and Mirko, or Rumi as you like to say. There's there, Izuku said, wiping the sleep out of his eyes, seeing his mother standing there, taking photos of the position that they're both in, as Mirko buried his head into his chest while he was sleeping. So, how's your sleep? Inko said, smiling with a cocky grin. Get out, Izuku said, shouting, as she ran out of the room in a giddy fuss. Okay, mister, she said, as Izuku woke up and got onto his feet, walking to the bathroom to get fully changed and had a shower and got out. As the moment he got out, Mirko was just fully dressed. I know what you guys were thinking there, perverts. as Izuku and Mirko both went downstairs to be greeted with their parents. "Wait, why are you here, Mom?" Mirko said. "Well, we want to have a little conversation here before you both go to school." "Wait, is this about the thing?" "No, not that thing, but another thing," Mirko's mother said. "Well, it's about," as they explained on how they're actually planning on getting married. But Izuku intervened, saying, "What?" Izuku said, starting to blush rapidly on his face. "Wait, what do you mean married?" Izuku said. "As it means married. We're gonna set you two in arranged marriage, of course." Wait, it's a bit too soon, isn't it?" "Nonsense. You two have known each other for years. Only natural." "Me and your mother got married this way," he said, pulling Mirko's mother to his side. Izuku and Rumi both blushed at that, knowing what they were going to do, as Izuku said, "As long as it's fine with you, Mirko," Izuku said, stuttering out the words. "Okay, then," she said innocently, not getting the ego like Kanon what she would do. As Izuku and Rimuri both actually signed the papers for them to actually live together for temporary usage. Well, Inko will still be there supervising, but this will be temporary. Very temporary. Until they actually, get out of high school, get jobs and shit like that. As the next day arose for the USJ incident, everything would go like canon. Izuku would use 100%, everything there would go similar to canon. You want to know why I'm going through the story really fast as possible? It's because one arc I really want to get to in this episode is really going to help the actual ship take flight. As their 2-week span of training, but with Izuku and Mirko's actual, instead of training, they went straight into the housing, basically, with Mirko moving in, which took a week to get all the stuff. As the rest of the week was doomed by training, as Izuku and Mirko had to share the same room, Izuku would sometimes feel embarrassed and actually take the couch instead. But sometimes he would sleep on the floor when Mirko was sleeping, just so he was able to actually, not feel embarrassed and actually get some sleep instead of just being awake all night. As the rest of the training went along, Izuku's actual power increase of 1-for-all would have increased to 8% instead of just being the normal 5, thanks to Mirko consistently beating his body up with kicks and strikes the more it went on. As for the final day of their actual training, Izuku decided to give Mirko a gift, which was a little necklace that he actually got from his father a while back for his mother, but he never gave it her. So Izuku gave it to Mirko as a good gift to symbolize their relationship. "Here you go, Mirko," Izuku said, stuttering, as he handed Mirko the gift, as Mirko just smiled and hugged Izuku tightly. "Thank you so much, Izuku," she said, hugging Izuku tighter and tighter as it went on, making Izuku's breathing cut off, and he started to strangle himself. "Mirko, you're choking me," Izuku said, as Izuku finally took his last breath and was finally released from Mirko's godlike tight grip. As Mirko put it around her neck, as she had a deeper look at it, it was a red heart with bunny ears and a green tint on the ears as well to symbolize him and her. As without thinking, she just kissed him straight on the lips, blushing at the realization a couple of seconds after when she did this, as her face deepened in the red colors. As the next day arose, as the sports festival began. There was a sports festival commencing. Aizawa told everyone to get into the gym uniforms and meet them down at Project Gamma to actually catch a bus that leads them into the sports festival. As Izuku arrived into the Project Gamma, as everyone saw everyone getting on the bus, basically I can't leave it easier than that. As everyone else got to the bus, as they all chatted about everything, as Sue finally brought the subject up once again about Izuku's quirk. Midoriya, I know I bring this up ribbit a lot, but your quirk is starting to remind me of something more than just that, as Izuku said, but what? But before she could even say her sentence, Aizawa told them all to shut up and get off the bus, where they've arrived. As Aizawa and everyone got off the bus, including a one pro hero general. This will lead into the story later. As everyone got off to the bus, they all lead themselves all the way into the actual, not the USJ, the actual Sports Festival building where everyone was cheering. But mainly one of them stood out to Izuku, with one girl with white hair holding a sign. "You can do it, babe!" she shouted in top of her lungs, as Izuku just waved to her, with a red blush on his face. As Midnight introduced all the first year students into, the arena. As everyone cheered and shouted, the first year representative, Izuku Midoriya, can you take the stand? As she did that, as Izuku came up to the stand and told everyone to go plus ultra, which everyone cheered, but Class 1B, however, took a different turn. As we cut to Shigaraki's point of view. "You sure this will work, Master? You saw the Nomu last time got decimated by All Might. What makes it different here?" Shigaraki said. "Well, pretty much different, because there's going to be multiple pro heroes there and multiple casualties. This will push our message out more to other people who want to join who are idiots. And more powerful people like your friend Dabi, who just recently joined our ranks. When will we actually come, when the 1v1 tournament starts? That should happen sometime around 1 PM to 2 PM. So we should have enough time to actually get along with our plan," All For One said, putting his hands together in very creepy tone. "You sure about this?" "Yes, I am sure, Shigaraki Tomura." "Get along with it," All For One said, pushing his protege to fight the Nomus into the sports festival. As we cut back to our main protagonist running through the field, dodging most of the pointers and 0-pointers that were there. As Izuku dodged most of them, but most of them actually hit the ground, sending a shockwave that knocks Izuku off his feet. As Izuku rushed in a little bit more, getting into the first layer, of which is the minefield. As the minefield that Izuku was running across, one of the mines set off, flinging Izuku forward at least 50 meters. "Damn it," Izuku thought mentally, as Izuku had the thought of using it 8% for the first time in a week. "I hope I can still use it," Izuku said, jumps. As the moment the first place was able to be attained, Izuku and Bakugo were both neck and neck, as Izuku had the bright idea to punch the wall, sending dust into Bakugo's eyes, blinding him for just a second. Izuku able to get first place and the 1 million headband, which will lead to his demise. As for Izuku's team, it would go all the way like cannon. "Yo, Ochako," Izuku said. "You wanna join my team?" "Sure." As may as well join the same with Tokoyami, leading them to the same team like cannon. As Izuku and everyone else had their same bouts, but with Izuku able to use at least the 8%, it would go a little bit different, but he would still lose his headband. Just be able to get the 4th place, just like Cannon. As Izuku just teared up slightly, but wiped the tear away, knowing he made it into the next round. As the next round commenced with the 1v1s. The first match with Izuku and Shinso went decently well like Cannon. Izuku got insulted, Izuku snapped and shouted at him, but the moment that happened, Izuku was brainwashed and kicked straight, or tried to get him off of the arena, but Izuku used 100% flick to knock him out of the unconscious state, and get Izuku back on his feet, pushing him further beyond his limits, enabling him to at least get that win. As the fight with Todoroki, everything kinda like canon, but Izuku would knock Todoroki clean out of the ring. As Izuku was in the infirmary, Rimi, or Mirko as we know her, came up to Izuku and tapped him on the shoulder, wondering if he was okay. Izuku just nodded at her, telling he was just fine, as she just kissed him on the cheek once more, telling him good luck for his next round with Ida. But this next round would decide the fate of the Class 1A students' future. As everyone was getting ready to see the next fight, as a purple portal opened on top of them. As Izuku, before he walked out, saw this and backed off slightly, wondering what this was. Is that the same portal we saw in the USJ? Izuku thought. Oh no, Rimi, Izuku said, as Izuku rushed out of their room, trying to find Rimi. As the moment he did, however, he saw her being able to be held up by her neck or by one of the Nomus. "Let go of me," she said, kicking him violently, but nothing seems to work, thanks to his shock absorption. "Get away from her!" Izuku shouted at the top of his lungs, not looking after his percentages, using 100%, punching the Nomu, making it implode. As Izuku's arm had no backlash, because you guys know why, shock absorption cancels out infernal shock. It means Izuku's bones aren't being crushed yet. As Izuku grabbed Rimi, asking if he was okay, as the only injury she had was a broken leg slightly, as all the heroes there, including All Might, Endeavor, Hawks, and so on, were actually fighting the rest of the Nomus that were there. Half of them already been defeated, but one of them stood out from the rest. A flying Nomu that was able to at least talk slightly. "You seem strong," the Nomu said, looking at Endeavor. "I should be. I'm the number 2 hero," he said cockily. "Good," the Nomu said. "Wait, you speak." As the Nomu charged at Endeavor, but before that could happen, All Might slugged it in the face, sending it flying. By the way, the Nomu's from season 4, if you guys haven't watched it yet, the Nomu's pretty chill. I'm joking, he's fucking mental. As All Might decided to fight that Nomu, but Endeavor fought back, acting like a child from his previous years. "I'm not letting you outshine me, Toshi," he said. "It's not about that, we need to take care of these as fast as possible." "You heard that one that said you can talk," Endeavor said. "Wait, can?" "We did that one on the other one, he was completely brain dead." "I know, but for some reason this one has the ability to talk." "Well then, we shouldn't struggle," All Might said, cracking his fingers, getting ready to use his percentages he must can. "Well, it's time to go all out then," All Might said, pushing himself to the break of limit. Having 1 hour and 30 minutes left on his timer, he had enough time to see to this. As All Might rushed at the Nomu, socking him in the face. As the blow per blow happened, as Endeavor fought into the fray and threw a spear of fire at the Nomu, throwing it back just slightly. "Thanks, Endeavor," All Might said. "So let me catch my breath slightly." "Damn it, this one's fucking vacant," All Might said. "Vacant's not a word, All Might." "Shut up, Endeavor," All Might said, smiling laughingly like a child should. "Well then, let's finish him off," Endeavor said. "Prominent burn! Detroit smash!" All Might shouted, the same with Endeavor in tandem, as the shockwave and fire traveled together neck side by side, connecting one by one, sending the Nomu flying into the wall. As Endeavor and All Might took this to the flight, as it would do in canon, as the season 4 prominence burn would take effect, just be able to scar half the Nomu's body into submission. As the final blow was done by All Might, sending the Nomu into a fiery dust to be blown away by the wind. as All Might and Endeavor both hit the ground, tired, bruised, and tired. That one was a bit rough, All Might said, smiling. I know, right? But we need to get the other one that's in hand. Where's your class that you taught? You mean class 1A? Yeah, they're no problem. They can handle themselves as long as they don't do something stupid, All Might said. Go get your son and half of the class. I'll make sure the civilians are safe, All Might said, pushing himself to 1 hour left on his timer. Shit, only got 1 hour left. Better make this one count, All Might said, pushing himself further beyond, pushing 30% out. As All Might jumped between building to building, finding the rest of the civilians that were in harm's way, saving them, and pushing them aside for the numbers to be defeated by All Might as well as other pros that were in the area, making the heroes win that fight. As we cut to Shigaraki's point of view, damn it, we lost again, but at least we managed to get our point across. This thing should have been on live TV by now, Shigaraki said, looking up to the sky still in the sports festival arena, as All For One got the sense that they would have failed, but internally he wanted this.